This video is part of a two-part series on how to read a CT scan. In the first video, I explained the basic concepts of CT. In this video, I'll guide you step by step through reading an actual scan. This is a cross-section of the thorax. The most prominent organs you can see are the lungs, which appear black due to their high air content, and the heart. We're looking at the body as if we're standing at the patient's feet, looking up toward their head. So the left side of the screen shows the patient's right side, and the right side of the screen shows their left. As we move higher, you'll notice the trachea, the air-filled tube at the front. Just behind it lies the esophagus. The trachea runs downward and eventually splits into the left and right main bronchi, which lead into the lungs. As we continue scanning downward, moving past the lungs and the diaphragm, the liver comes into view. Just below the liver, you'll see the gallbladder. On the left side of the body, there's the spleen and the stomach. The stomach is usually easy to spot. It often contains air or fluid, which makes it appear darker than the surrounding tissues. Just behind the stomach is the pancreas. It's a lobulated organ that runs horizontally across the upper abdomen. It can be a bit harder to recognize because it tends to blend in with the nearby tissues. When you look slightly higher, you'll find two small triangular-shaped glands sitting right on top of each kidney. These are the adrenal glands. They're often subtle on imaging, but once you know where to look, their shape and typical location make them easier to spot. As we move a bit further down, the kidneys themselves come into view. The right kidney typically sits a little lower than the left because of the position of the liver. A bit lower, the intestines begin to dominate the cross-section. These loops can be part of either the small or large intestine, and their appearance varies depending on what they contain, like gas, fluid, or feces. Now, as we enter the pelvis, one of the first things you'll notice is the urinary bladder. It usually appears as a round or oval, dark structure in the middle, especially when it's filled with urine. Just beneath the bladder is the prostate gland. And a bit further back, you'll see the rectum. It's a hollow structure that sits just behind both the bladder and prostate. One thing we haven't talked about yet is the aorta, which becomes clearly visible around the level of the liver. The aorta appears as a round, bright structure, sitting just in front of the spine and slightly to the left of the midline. As we follow it downward, it stays pretty central until it bifurcates into the right and left common iliac arteries. Each of these then splits into the external iliac artery and the internal iliac artery. Running parallel and just to the right of the aorta is the inferior vena cava, the large vein that returns deoxygenated blood from the lower half of the body back to the heart. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to learn more about radiology, you might want to have a look at my playlist to watch all the videos on this topic.